Today we're going to do something a little bit different. I have a question from a new sous chef whose name is Maddie, and they say they're trying to learn and develop still. Now, the question is kind of long, so bear with me. I'm going to read the whole thing, and then we'll go through it, through all the major points, and see if we can't help Maddie out. So he says, today I had a line cook walk out on us because of an ongoing attitude problem and not caring about what the chefs say, not just myself. When I discipline, I've been met with nothing but resistance. Usually I understand each person has their own issues, and I will ignore it with thick skin and go about business until they're ready to come around, and then we'll have a quick talk and get them back on track. Today, I took a more direct approach, and as I was calling out tickets, he was ignoring me and not doing callbacks, simply asked if he heard me, and then he needs to call back everything so I know he's on it. He got angry like he normally does after getting told what to do and asked if I wanted problems. I told him I didn't want any issues and I just wanted him to do his job and respect when me or other chefs are asking him to work. As I am telling him this, he walks out on me and says he's leaving. I've tried being nice early on, and I've tried being more direct, as well as everything else in between. He just has a problem with authority and listening to managers or basically anyone. I'm still a young chef and am angry that he walked, but I'm also sad I wasn't able to get through to him. I take responsibility on my end because I feel maybe I shouldn't have pushed him so hard looking for him to show respect. Could you give me more ideas on how to handle employees who are inconsistent with taking directions and things I can do to teach better and avoid walkouts? This was the first walkout I've had. Thanks. So first off, you're a new sous chef. You had this cook walk out, looked like he was flopping attitude. And the first thing here, when I discipline, I've been met with nothing but resistance. Something that you're going to need to learn early on is there are always going to be people that you can't reach. Now, as you get better at training, the people that you can't reach will get smaller and smaller because you learn techniques or you learn how to correct things in your own training that make that training a little bit easier. Normally, I would say that what happens in the kitchen or what happens on the line stays on the line. You don't take that stuff home. You guys are a team, and you need to have that thick skin, right? But in this case, not calling back, not saying heard, not talking is it can fuck up the kitchen because you don't know if they have chicken going or fried or whatever station they're working. You don't know if they have that stuff. So you are 100% justified as a sous chef telling people to give you callbacks when you call out orders and call out things to be fired. Right? Absolutely. So the way that I would have handled this situation, not that it's right, this is just what I would have done. You say I get a ticket and it's so I have stuffed mushroom appetizer, Asiago chicken for 2 and wild rice baked potato. Fire 1 stuffed mushroom app. I got 2 Asiago chicken, 1 wild rice, 1 baked potato. Heard? And then they would say, heard. Did you get that call back on the stuffed mushroom? Nothing. Quiet. I need a call back on the stuffed mushroom, please, right now. They're still not saying anything. Mike, stuffed mushrooms. Yes, you heard, right? Then at this point, if they're still not saying anything, then we have a problem.
Do you want to have problems? Do you want to take this out?
I don't care if you have a problem with me, Mike. I need you to fire a stuffed mushroom, and I need you to give me callbacks when I ask for them, please. Thank you. If they say anything, this was not a conversation. Fire stuffed mushroom, heard? I actually had a dishwasher that was cussing up a storm really fucking loud. Cooks swear like sailors, all right? They swear up a storm, but it stays in the kitchen. The guests cannot hear attitude. So this dishwasher was freaking out, slamming shit, screaming. I was in the dining room, almost in the dining room making pizza. So if I'm hearing it and it's loud, the table that's like 10 feet in front of me is definitely hearing it. So I have to yell from my pizza station into the cook line, because there's like a pizza station out front, and then there's like a cook line in the back where we did like burgers and pastas and shit like that. Hey man, you need to keep that swearing shit down, okay? The customers can hear you. And he turns to me and he's like, "Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. You got a problem? Don't fuck with me." I don't have a problem with you, but I need you to tone your shit down because the customers can hear you, all right? We are in a restaurant. This is not the place for that. You want to take this outside? You want to take this outside? Don't fuck with me. He kept saying that over and over. Don't fuck with me. Look, dude, if fighting is your answer for everything, that's all fine and well. You can take yourself outside, but I've got a kitchen that I need to run. I don't need your fucking attitude, swearing where the customers can hear you because you got your fucking panties in a twist about some stupid shit. If you got a problem, talk like an adult about it. He wasn't happy, but too fucking bad. There was so much that happened in my life, but when you step through the door of the restaurant, you put that shit aside and you do your job. If you feel like it's going to be affecting your job, then you need to have an open and honest conversation about that with whoever you are working with, and hopefully you're in a tight enough team that you can be honest. Have that conversation in the office, right? Because mental and physical health and well-being are always the most important thing. If you have problems and you can't function well at work, then that is definitely a problem, right? But you don't take it out on the people that you work with. You don't take it out on your friends. You don't take it out on your family. You don't take it out on anybody. This asshole, you tried being nice to him. I mean, the fact that he's not talking to you when you're asking for callbacks, and then when he does say something, he snaps at you, that's a problem. There's times where there's underlying work problems that we don't often know about. One example is if somebody is being micromanaged horribly, like constantly being micromanaged, they will get to a point where they shut down and they don't want to do their job at all anymore. They end up doing quiet quitting. If you guys want to learn more about quiet quitting, I'll actually bloop up a video up here so you guys can check it out. People can shut down because of micromanaging and not want to do their job. That is a little more of an in-depth problem because the work is the thing that made them shut down, but them shutting down is still a problem. When people walk out after having a shit-ass attitude and they can't hang on the line and they're not talking to people, they're not being a team player, as far as I'm concerned, the trash took itself out, right? But I know that that is not always the case. So I want to go into like a scenario where this person is having family problems or he's being micromanaged by one of the other managers and he took it out on you, basically. So let's go at that scenario. So what you could do is he has this attitude, this flare-up on the line. Now, the most important thing is the guest and the food and the tickets. All of that stuff is the most important thing, making sure that the guests have a good experience, making sure, so work as much of as a team as you possibly can. If it gets to be too much for this guy, then he could take a fucking walk. But as long as he's doing his job, keep things going until you get to a point where you can slow down enough, have somebody else take over on wheel or expo or whatever you're doing, be like, hey, John, can you cover saute for a second? I'm going to go talk to this guy. Show them that you care. And like, look, dude, what's going on? Like, you were doing really good for like 2 weeks, and then now all of a sudden, like, you snapped at me on the line. Like, we have to have callbacks. We can't just work without communication. Like, everybody else is saying heard callbacks. I'm not just lording power over you. This is just how we work. I have to know that you heard what I said, and if your back is turned to me and I call out, what did I call out? Yeah, I call out a stuffed mushroom. I need to know that you are working on that, and I can't go and look and check on you every single time. So can you do that for me? If I call something back, can you do that for me and give me a herd or whatever? And I'll do the same for you if there's something that you need. If you tell me that you're something out on that, you will get callbacks from me too. But I need to hear from you. I need you to be vocal. A lot of these people are going to be around for years, possibly. Obviously, except for Captain Asshole over here that walked out. But the team is extremely important. Sometimes you spend more time with your team than you spend with your own family. You're working 55, 60, 65-hour work weeks, getting rent paid, doing your thing, fucking grinding, busting ass. And, you deserve everything for that. And I think that's underappreciated in this industry, how much people sacrifice for the cook line. But sometimes that stress and pressure gets to us, and sometimes we lash out, and it sucks. But you have to take it for what it is. I'm not saying to let people walk all over you. Give a certain amount of empathy to the people that you're working with within reason. So I have a saying. My saying is, You don't earn my respect. You get my respect by default. What you earn is my disrespect. Once you earn my disrespect, it's really hard to get my respect back, because I start out treating you the way that I would treat my brother, right? I do everything in my power to make sure that the people that I'm working with are taken care of, that they have everything they need. I will come in on my day off to cover a shift so somebody can go spend some time with their family that they haven't seen in like 2 weeks. Like, I will be there for my team. I only ask for the respect of the line, respect for the ingredients in the food, and putting out good stuff, you know? With this guy, like I said, I feel like with your particular circumstance, based on what I'm seeing here, the trash took itself out. Just take it for what it is, learn the lesson, and move on. Get somebody else in there that when you're interviewing. I don't know if you're going to interview as a sous chef. Sometimes the sous will interview in place of the exec. A lot of times the exec handles that. But say you end up interviewing somebody, take what you learned here with this guy being a dick and ask that communication question to your candidate. How do you value communication, for example, could be a thing. Give me an example of how you might talk to other cooks on the line. You know, how do you approach that? Do you know what heard means? And if they're brand new, maybe they don't know what heard means. If you want, depending on how you're feeling, depending on the mood of the interview, how things are going, you know, be like, well, we've had some problems with communication in the past, and I just need to make sure that, you know, when I say that I need something, that you're going to be there for that. Is that something that you can do? You know, whatever. I mean, you don't have to rip that line. I'm literally just like thinking off the top of my head. I don't have any of this written down, so I would probably be a lot more cordial and cordial. Is that professional or whatever? I would have thought through this a lot more for an interview, so just bear with me. It's okay to be nice, but don't be a nice guy. Don't let them walk all over you. Don't let them treat you like shit. Like I said, I would come in on my day off to cover somebody, but if I get the impression that they kind of always have days off that they need, and it's always like short notice, and like I start feeling like they're taking advantage of that, then I'll do something about talk to the person, you know. But for the time being, you have to assume that that there's going to be a mutual respect and they're not going to take advantage of it. What I found most of the time is when you show that dedication and that respect, a lot of times, in 99% of the time, you'll get it back. You know, they will give you loyalty. They will work hard for you. You know, you just have to start with quality candidates. The next part is, could you give me more ideas on how to handle employees who are inconsistent with taking directions and things I can do to teach better and avoid walkouts? With the consistency thing, understand that there is no such things as a challenge or a problem. It's only opportunities, right? Opportunities for growth. And I know it sounds stupid and like psychobabbly to say it that way, but there's a purpose behind this. If you stop looking at this as challenges that need to be overcome, you know, problem areas that need to be ironed out, look at it as this is an opportunity for you to learn something and to get better. Take the instances as they happen, be observant, make sure you're writing things down, and have sit-downs. You know, whether it's once a week or bi-weekly, like have back-of-house meetings where everybody gets together and they talk about stuff, you know, but people have to feel like they're able to actually give their opinion. Like, if somebody says that you're doing something wrong, the absolute last thing that you're going to want to do is to get defensive or point out why they're actually the ones doing something wrong. Inconsistent employees can happen because of inconsistent training. You're not always to blame. Sometimes I've actually noticed this trend in training people. People ask how somebody's coming along. I don't usually make a judgment for about the first 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks. Because what might happen, and I've seen this before, a lot actually, is somebody will start being good. They'll come in and they'll just be like on it, right? First 2 weeks, and then like week 3, they don't make any more progress. And week 4, they still don't make any progress. And you start having to reteach them things you taught them a week ago. And they're not picking up on things. They can't keep up on the line. It's too much pressure. They start going out for more smoke breaks. They get lazy. You know, they kind of just fuck around when they're there. They don't do their job. And you have to kind of get them going, you know. And sometimes you can give them a kick in the ass and they work out, and other times they don't. There are people that if you don't push them, they won't grow. They won't get out of the nest and start flapping their wings and going. So the trick for being a good trainer is you have to know how to push somebody just enough without pushing them so hard that they crack and they fall. You just put them under a little bit more pressure. You know, you're going to work sauté tonight. I'm going to watch you. You're going to do it on your own. You know, are you okay? Are you comfortable with that? No. Good. So you're going to run sauté. I'm going to watch you. You've been doing this. I'm confident you can do it. I'll be around. I'm not going to let you drown, but let's see if you can do it. And then when they do it, this is why I love training so much. They do it and they fucking rock that station. The look on their face, that look, that like light up, like I fucking did it. I fucking ran that shit. Like that was so fucking cool. Like, I love this station. Can I do it again tomorrow? Like, fuck yeah, you could do it again tomorrow. Like, you busted ass, man. We had a full rail of tickets and you knocked it out like you'd been here for 5 years. You know, that's badass. Like, you should be proud of yourself. You know, and give that encouragement and everything. And if they fail, look at it as, what could I have done better? Maybe they weren't ready for it. And make sure they understand that they didn't fail because they're a bad person. They failed. They didn't even really fail. It's practice. You know, you put them under that pressure and they start cracking. And you can see where they're having mistakes. Be like, well, first off, you don't have pans on the thing. You don't have any pasta in the water. This is how we're going to do this. If you get a bunch of orders and you got like 6 tickets and you got to do pasta and you got to do saute this and do the shrimp like this, think about the order that you can put them in to get them all going. And eventually you're going to need to learn to do about 6 or 7 things at once. Like you have like 6 pans going. They all have different stuff in them. They're all in different stages of cooking. But as you do it, you get better at it and you can get the timing down. So we'll just keep working at it, you know. You and me, we'll work sauté tomorrow. I'll show you, I'll explain some things, and then you'll get the hang of it, right? Like, I know that you can do it. Don't be hard on yourself. So 2 examples of like, they did good, they did bad. Learning leadership is actually one of the hardest things to learn. And I feel like there's a lot of people that they're like,
anybody can be a manager, but leaders are bored. You have to have genetic DNA to be a leader.
I think that's bullshit. I ended up becoming a leader. I'm able to run a kitchen. I can do this because I busted my ass for 19 years learning how to be a good leader. Not just managing a kitchen. Not just doing the paperwork, micromanaging, and getting defensive when people call me out on shit. Because the number one important thing is that you are always learning. You're always learning. You might be there for 5 years. Somebody that is new, that's only been working for 2 months, has an idea for something that you never thought of. Their grandma had this recipe, this Italian recipe that was just fucking bomb. Better than anything you've ever made. All right, make it. You know, give them that freedom. Put it on the menu. Put it as a special. You know, give them some feeling of ownership over that stuff. Bring them in. Don't. When someone is being shitty, don't start cutting them out. Don't push them aside. Engage with them. Have them be part of the team. Sometimes there are people that think everybody just gives up on me anyway, so I'm just going to be a dick because fuck everybody else. And then when they see that somebody's actually giving a shit about them and actually cares about them, their attitude will change. And they become different because they realize like they don't have to be alone, you know. That gets a little deep into like the psychology of it and stuff like that. If you want to know more about this stuff, I'll leave a playlist here, so you can check that out if you want. And if you want to learn more about being a cook, being a leader, running a kitchen, or stuff like that, I'm gonna start doing some even like fun stories. Like I got a video coming up about if a hamburger is a sandwich. Let me know down below if you think it is, and a few other things. Keep the questions coming. I'll do my best to continue answering them, and I promise I will do my best to make sure I continue uploading on Sunday or early Monday. But you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.